welcome to the 5th episode of my knitting podcast. It's been a while since I last recorded. I've been pretty busy on the weekends, and I like to only record on the weekend because I like to get this natural lighting, and during the weekday I'm working, and then once I get off work I'm usually pretty tired, or like the light's already gone, so I have like a very small window in my week to record. Usually it's Saturday in the morning after I finish my chores, so that's exactly the time that I'm coming to you now. I'm still going out today, so I only have a limited amount of time to do this, so I'll make it snappy. I'll try not to ramble as much as I usually do. But yeah, in LA, the weather's really finally warming up, which I have mixed feelings about, you know. I can wear my sweaters when it's colder, but I have been missing the sun, so, and I do want to get on to knitting summer projects, so it's a mixed bag, but overall, I'm glad to see the seasons change. I also haven't been knitting as much as I usually do, and that's because I started playing Zelda, but not the Tears of the Kingdom, Breath of the Wild. I picked up the game a long time ago, and I played a little bit of the intro, but I didn't get sucked into it. But when Tears of the Kingdom came out, I told myself, you know, you should really get back into it. So I picked up Breath of the Wild again, and now I'm pretty hooked. So I'm excited to finish that game and go on to Tears of the Kingdom. And I've already bought Tears of the Kingdom, and normally I wouldn't buy a game so far in advance before I'm actually going to play it, but I saw a deal at Costco. It was $10 off. The game is $70, so that's a steal. I had to pick it up. I've also been watching a lot of shows lately. A lot of my favorite TV shows have ended. Succession, Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, Ted Lasso. There's also some anime like Demon Slayer. Yeah, so less time for knitting, because for those shows I kind of want to concentrate a little bit. You know, there's some shows that are like more background shows where you don't mind if you miss a detail here or there on screen as you're, you know, checking your stitch count or whatever. But there are other shows where I really want to absorb every detail I can. So yeah, those shows were like that for me. So, but they've all finished. I'm back on my knitting, and let's move on to the knitting portion of the podcast. And as you can see, I have this finished object. I showed it as a whip last time. Yeah, I did. And it's the Marseille Sweater by Petiteknit. Stand up so you can get a better view. So I knit this sweater in Knitpicks yarn. It's called, what's it called? It's called Simply Wool Worsted, and the colors are Wendy and Winkle. So they have maybe 10 colors, various shades of like white, cream, gray, brown, because it's a 100% eco wool and it's undyed. And all of the color names start with a W. I think it's kind of cute, but also makes it hard to remember the names. Yeah, anyways, I do want to, first off, I really love this sweater and the finished project. It's just the perfect amount of oversize, and it's really easy to reach for. This yarn is also quite affordable. They come in 100-gram hanks, and each hank the standard price is $7.99, but they always have sales. Knitpicks does. So, and I used 5 hanks of the gray color and 1 hank of the white color, and that was the perfect amount. I knit the size extra small, so I only had a little bit of each one left, and I knit it pretty much according to pattern. There's a few variations here or there. So anyways, so yeah, I used 6 skeins. So at the standard price, it would be $48. But if you get a sale, you can get it even cheaper. And I think $48 for a 100% wool sweater is still good. I really need to use this yarn again. I do wish, I mean, I know it's their like selling point, but I do wish it came in different colors. Besides the neutrals, but you can be sure that next time I want to knit a neutral sweater in this worsted weight gauge, I'm going to try them again. But yeah, this yarn, I really love that the gray has a slight heathering. It's not like a flat gray. It's yeah, it just has a little more visual interest than if it were a flat gray. It was really nice to knit with. I didn't have any problems. Maybe the yarn would split here and there, but I don't think there's any yarn I've ever knit with that doesn't split a little bit. The tension was pretty even as I was knitting it. I did notice a little bit of rowing out as I was knitting back and forth for the yoke, but after blocking, it all evened out. Let me show you a little closer of the yarn. Yeah, I'm really happy with this yarn. I'm pleasantly surprised. So let's get on to the actual pattern. So the Marseille Sweater by Petiteknit, it's knit, you start with a provisional cast on actually for this sweater, and then you knit some short, okay, I actually kind of forgot the process, but yeah, you start with a provisional cast on, which is really interesting, and then you knit the back yoke down, and then you knit 1 stripe, and then you pick up stitches from the provisional cast on. So you can see it's pretty seamless. Like it just looks like a continuous row of strip stitches. I don't think it's perfect though. Like you can see it's a little uneven here, but you know, no one's going to notice. I was wondering if it was because of my uneven pickup or something I did wrong with the cast on, but when I looked at Petiteknit's photos, I could see that the shoulder looks quite similar to mine. So, you know, if hers turned out this way, then I'm not going to complain about, or I'm not going to question my technique if mine turned out the same way. Top down sweater with a different cast on. The sleeves also have short rows, so you know, drop shoulder construction essentially. You go down, and then you pick up sleeves for the pick up stitches for the sleeves, short rows, and then you knit down with decreases. So this yarn I do really recommend for this pattern, but the gauge I got is not exactly correct. I got 21 stitches on 28 rows, by 28 rows, whereas the pattern, it calls for 20 stitches and 32 rows for 10 centimeters. Is that right? No, I think I flipped them. No, sorry. Okay. No, okay, so my gauge is 20 stitches and 28 rows, whereas the pattern gauge calls for 21 stitches and 32 rows. So that's on 4mm needles. I did try gauging with 3.75mm needles, and I did end up getting the 20 stitch row gauge, but it looked a little tight on the needles and it was a little painful to knit, so I didn't want to go down to 3.75, so I just went with the 4, and I decided, you know what, it's just going to be even more oversized than intended, and well, with the end result, I'm happy with it. But the row gauge, the difference in the row gauge did end up giving me a little bit of trouble. So when you're knitting this pattern, she gives you the number of rows to knit for the front yoke, and also gives the finished dimension of the front yoke. So I used the dimension, of course, since I knew that my row gauge was different. But when you start, back yoke. When you start with the back yoke, she gives both the actually, do you start with the front yoke? Shoot, I should have looked up. Anyways, I should have prepared a little better. Anyways, for one side, either the front or the back, she gives both the number of rows and the... Oh, okay, I remember, it's the back. Of course, it always starts with the back. So for the back yoke, she gives both the number of sorry, one sec. Oh, okay, I'm back. I heard the Roomba going off. I was going to go complain to my partner, why are you turning on the Roomba while I'm recording? Turns out our cats turned it on. Okay, where was I? Yes, I was talking about the yoke. Okay, anyways, so the back yoke, she gives dimensions and number of rows, but the front yoke, she only gives the number of rows to knit to. So I was a little confused about how far I should knit to, because I didn't know how the shaping on the back would affect it, and you know, all the other factors. So what I ended up doing, I just used I counted the number of rows that my back yoke ended up to be, and got the fraction, the fraction of, I compared it to the number of rows she said it should be, and then adjusted the number of rows given by multiplying the fraction. Yeah, I just ratioed it. What am I even saying? I just adjusted it. I just scaled it. That's the word I'm looking for. Yeah, I scaled it and it turned out fine. Also, this sweater is quite long, and you can notice that the last stripe of the sweater is like right before the ribbing, whereas in her sample, there's still like a decent chunk of the main color before it goes into the ribbing. You can imagine, because my row gauge is actually quite different, that this is the expected result. So what I should have done, I probably should have reduced the number of stitches in between the stripes, or the number of, not stitches, the rows, number of rounds in between the stripes, and or the number of rounds for each stripe. I did think about it actually before I started, but I really wanted the proportion of the stripes and the space in between the stripes to be exactly correct. I wanted to, I wanted to get the look that she had in her pictures, and I'm glad I went with that. I did see some project photos of some people only knitting 3 stripes instead of the 4 that I have, but I didn't. I wanted the 4 stripes, and I got them. And I don't mind that the last white stripe ends right before the ribbing, so that's good. I also did not want to decrease the length of the ribbing because I really like the long rib look. For the arms, I also decreased one round earlier. Decreased more often than the pattern says, one round earlier, and I decreased one more time at the end. And then I started the ribbing at the same point after the last stripe. And I kept the ribbing length the same, which I love. As I was knitting it, I was really worried that it would be way too large. But after blocking, it did not grow that much, so I'm really glad about that. Yeah, as I was knitting it, I was joking to my partner that this sweater's gonna end up being for him because I thought it would get humongous. And it actually does fit him, and in my opinion, it looks way better on him than it does on me. So yeah, I guess we'll share the sweater, but I think it looks pretty cute on me as well. Okay, so last detail about, I think the last change I made, the collar, I did 1 stitch less. It's a folded over collar. I did 1 stitch less before and after the purl bump, and I think it looks really good. I also put in elastic here so it sits nicely, and I'm really in love with this collar. I wasn't sold at first on this purl bump that you do before folding over the collar as I was knitting it, but after blocking it, I think it looks great, so I'm really happy about that. Overall, this sweater is just so good. I don't know. I'm just so happy with it. Last thing I want to mention, this sweater, it's made me want to knit more sweaters without mohair. I love mohair and I will continue knitting with it, but the wearability of this is just so nice, because with mohair, even if you just like scratch your face a little bit, little particles will just be flying everywhere. And if you just put on sunscreen or you just put on skincare, it can like stick to your face, which is really annoying. This one is just like clean, way fewer fibers flying everywhere. And as long as it holds up without pilling, then sign me up. I'm going to be knitting way more sweaters without mohair. So far it's good. I've worn it 5 times already, and usually by that time I can tell when a sweater is going to pill badly, and this one hasn't, so fingers crossed. Alright, let's go on to work in progress. I only have one and it's actually almost finished. It really should be a finished object as well, but I got lazy last night, so my work in progress is these socks. I think this is only the second okay, sorry, I'm slipping all over my words today. I think it's because I'm trying to go fast. So this is only the second pair of socks I've shown on my podcast, and they're unblocked, so you can't really tell what they're gonna look like. Let me try to stretch out the pattern, or stretch out the, there you go. Oh, how cute is this lace pattern? Oh my gosh, I'm obsessed. So these are the Stella Socks by Inka Järvikangas. I'm so sorry if I pronounced that wrong. I'll put the actual pronunciation or actual spelling in the description. By the way, I always put, all the patterns I'm talking about, the designers and the yarn in the description, so you can check that. Yes, and then the yarn that I'm using is from Purlsoho. It's their sock yarn, and it's called Posy. It's 75% superwash, 15% cashmere, and 10% nylon. So that 15% cashmere really intrigued me, and it is really soft, but I'm almost convinced it's going to pill. We'll see. I got this yarn like last year during their sample sale, their in-person sample sale, and they just had their sample sale again recently, but I saw that they were going to do it online as well, so I didn't go to this one. And I also had I also planned to hang out with friends pretty soon after, so I didn't want to tire myself out. And I'm glad I didn't go because I'm still working through some of the yarn I got then. This yarn, I did see that I'm pretty sure they still have a sale going on right now, and this yarn is at a pretty heavy discount, and they have limited colors left. And I think it's been on sale for a long time, so it seems like they're phasing out this yarn, but I don't see any other sock yarn on their website, so maybe they're going to introduce a new line. I'm not sure, but yeah, if you want to pick up some decently priced yarn and try out some cashmere in your socks, now's a good time. So this pattern, it's actually a free pattern. I think you can find it on Ravelry. I'll try to find it and link it. And I first saw it on Handmade by Florence's podcast. I saw she knits a lot of socks, and I saw that she had knitted the sock, and since it was a free pattern, I picked it up, and yeah, that's all the justification I need. I also do have the 52 weeks of socks book, and I did want to choose one from that book, but the gauge I was getting on this yarn was pretty big. On 2.25 millimeter needles, I was getting like 30 stitches for 10 centimeters, and a decent number of the patterns that I like from the 52 weeks of socks book, they tend to have smaller stitch gauges. So yeah, I ended up going with this Stella sock pattern, and the first sock that I finished it fits great. Oh yeah, I didn't even mention how far along I am. So yes, I finished one, and this is how much I have of the second. You can see I actually already finished the toe decreases, and I just have to do the Kitchener stitch bind off, so it really should be done. But yeah, anyways. So this pattern, I really like it because it has a lot of patterning, but for very minimal effort. Only half of the sock has a lace pattern, and then the other half is the stockinette. And this lace pattern, you only have to do something once every 4 rounds. So it's actually quite a chill knit, and it's a really easy lace pattern to remember. So I highly, highly recommend this pattern. There's only 2 sizes though, and the 2 sizes are like 60 stitches and 64 stitches, which is not much, but you can just add more stitches to this stockinette. I feel like it's quite easy to modify, or you can even do another repeat of this lace pattern. So I'm not complaining about that, and it's a free pattern. Yeah, it's super cute, and I think the length is perfect. I have this much left of the yarn, and I started with 100-gram hank, so pretty good, yeah. I would prefer to have nothing left, but it's okay. I did see there's a really cute sock pattern that I was thinking of making with sock scraps. It's called like the half C's sock. I don't remember the designer, but I'll put the picture and like the name up here. But yeah, that one looks really cute. It's basically like a Frankenstein sock of all your old scraps. That makes me think I need to start getting brighter colored sock yarn, so it'll actually be an interesting looking sock, or else it's just going to be a Frankenstein sock of like whites and grays and browns. Which could be cute too, but you know. Yes. How are we doing on time? Pretty good. Oh, I feel like I'm flying through this. That's the only work in progress I have, but I'll give a little preview of my next work in progress. So, Handmade by Florence, she has a sock pattern coming out, and I applied to test and I got in. So this is going to be my first test knit, which is really exciting. I'm a little nervous, so I'm glad I'm starting out with socks, which is relatively simple compared to a garment. And so yeah, that will definitely be casted on as soon as I finish this sock and I free up these needles. The yarn I'm going to use is West Yorkshire Spinners Signature Floor Ply. This color is Cardamom. It's 75% wool and 25% nylon. This yarn, I think it won an award for being like one of the most hard wearing yarns for socks, so I'm excited to try it. I did actually knit in this yarn for a pair of socks for my partner, but they actually do look kind of pilled, so I don't know if it's the way he walks or our floors are really abrasive. I don't know, like he doesn't even wear them outside, he wears them to sleep. So maybe I'll try knitting this one at smaller needles. Hopefully that fixes it. Yeah, because I really want to knit a lot of socks and to be able to wear them outside. I think that'll be so cute. But if they start looking worn in like within a few wears, it's probably not worth the effort. So yeah, I'm still on the hunt for really nice sock yarns. Okay, now let's move on to acquisitions. So I mentioned in previous podcasts that I was trying to really limit the amount of yarn I'm buying, and that kind of all fell apart this past month that I've been gone. But I have some justification for it. I actually placed 2 orders from knit.co.uk. Yeah, I know. I should have just... Okay, anyways. So, the reason why I placed my first order is because there's this... Because of this booklet. It's the Sandesgarn catalogue 2302 DIY booklet. And the pattern that made me really want to buy this, anyways, so yeah, I saw this that it came back in stock on knit.co.uk's website. And the pattern I really wanted to knit for this is the one on the cover. It's the, what is it called? It's called the Vienna blouse. And I just think it's freaking cute. I have a dress similar to this model picture. Yeah, I'm so excited to knit this. I'm actually gonna join a knit along. I'll put the details of who's hosting it here. It's a knit along that you knit with a friend, and you two can knit, I think, the same thing or like matching things. And I'm going to be knitting it with Sweater and Spice. So I'm really excited to start that. And yeah, I did place another order for that yarn. So that's a third order from knit.co.uk. I think the lesson is I should like wait longer in between orders so I can actually group them together. But I feel like a sense of, because they have limited stock on their website, so I really get worried that things are going to sell out. So when I really need them, I won't be able to buy them. So that's why I've placed so many orders. Yeah. Anyways, yes. So I got this booklet, and very quickly I'll go through the sorry. Actually, I think this is the pattern that the only pattern that I will for sure knit in this booklet. And while it does seem a little wasteful to buy a whole booklet just for one pattern, it was like $8, which is on the low end for pattern prices these days. And it's the only way to get the pattern, so you know what, I don't feel bad. It was necessary. If I was to knit another pattern from this booklet, it would probably be, let me find it. It would probably be this one, the Abbey sweater. I just think it's super cute. I'm starting to knit a lot of stripes, I guess. Yeah. Anyways, I'm really excited to knit this Vienna blouse, and you'll see the yarn for this on the next podcast. I got another booklet as well. It's this one. There's an older booklet. This is the Sandesgarn catalogue 2104 Summer Lady. And the pattern that got me to buy this book is I really should put bookmarks so I'm not flipping through while I'm recording. That would be smart. Okay, it's this one. It's the Camille shirt. So I really like the oversized look of this shirt. I probably am not going to knit the sleeves as long as shown in the photo, but I love the long, super long v-neck. I don't have too much of a chest area going on, so yeah, I just like the look. I first saw this shirt, I think, on High Fiber Knits, one of her pattern recommendations for summer. It was, I think, last year, and I've wanted to knit this shirt ever since, but I didn't know about knit.co.uk at the time, and I didn't want to spend so much on the Mother Knitter website, so I'm excited that I finally get the chance. That's pretty much why I bought the book. The other patterns, honestly, I don't care much for. And at the same time, I did buy the yarn for that shirt. This is the Sandesgarn Tynn line. It's 53% cotton, 33% viscose, and 14% linen. And this color is 6061. Yeah. I'm excited to try this yarn. I've never tried it before. The only summer yarn I've really tried is Knitting for Olive's Pure Silk. And I've always wanted to try linen. It's only partially linen, but I'm still excited to try. Okay, next. Sorry, I was just checking my watch to make sure I'm not going over on time. All right, next reason why I bought. Next thing I bought in this first order is this Tynn silk mohair. This color. Wait, is this the same? Oh no, it's different. This one is 6044. And this yarn, if you watch my previous podcast, I wanted to knit the Gia zipper sweater, and I bought this yarn. I wanted to knit it for my partner and I bought this yarn, but I bought at the time, the matching mohair wasn't out, so I bought this blue thinking it might work, and I did not like the result. So I've been waiting for a while for my next order to purchase this one, and I finally got the chance. So I'm happy to have the perfect match, and I'm excited to start the sweater. Yeah, there's that one. I bought 5 skeins of this one for that zipper sweater. Next thing I bought, and so I did also buy 2 more balls of this yarn, I believe. The reason why I bought 2 more balls of this yarn is I was looking for a project to do. Since I wasn't going to be using this for the zipper sweater, I would have 5 extra skeins. So I was looking for projects, and I did see that Petiteknit's poppy tee, you can use 2 strands. She does recommend as an option, instead of the cashmere, 2 strands of Tynn silk mohair. So I did think that this light blue color would be really cute for that t-shirt. But I did need a couple more skeins, so that's what I bought 2 more skeins for. So that'll be a future project as well. And I also bought stitch holders, like, those long tubes. It's Petiteknit stitch holders, but I actually didn't get them in the order. I did email knit.co.uk and they did refund me, so yeah, I'm glad for that. Honestly, even if they didn't refund me, it's only $4 and I'm saving so much money buying from them anyways, so it wouldn't have stopped me from buying from them, even based on principle. I think I'm more discount motivated than like customer service motivated. Yeah, anyways, so that was my first order, and then I don't know if anyone else does this. Sometimes I just go on these websites and browse for fun just to see what they have. And I was browsing and I saw that the burnt sugar color for the Tynn silk mohair was back in stock. Now, burnt sugar is the color that... So I mentioned that I wanted to knit a brown Gia zipper sweater for my partner as well, and at that time I also bought the wrong color mohair. Yes, I also bought the wrong color mohair. This is the base yarn that I'm going to use for it. It's Double Sunday, Petiteknit Double Sunday. And I bought like a light pink color for that yarn. to match with this, and it did not turn out well because yeah, it just didn't turn out well. So yeah, I've been waiting for the brown sugar to get in stock. So when I saw that it was in stock, I just had to place another order because yeah, I have like, I'm just scared that it's going to sell out again. So yeah, I'm glad I have that. I got the skeins required for that. I also picked up a few extra because the pink mohair that I got to pair with this one, I was looking for a project to make with that. And in this Sandesgarn catalog that I showed last time, they do have a sweater that uses that pink color, which I thought was super cute. It's this one. It's called the Jolly Genzer. So it's all mohair, and it's using off-white, the pink color, and the burnt sugar color. So since they did have enough burnt sugar and it's also using the pink, I decided to purchase the white as well. So yeah, I'll be making this sweater as well in the future. So many Sandesgarn products. I'm sorry. I feel like I kind of go into phases. Before I was knitting with a lot of Knitting for Olive. Now I'm moving into Sandesgarn. I just wanna, try out all the popular yarn brands and then really zone in on what I like. There's the white color that I bought. I always have a hard time finding the color. It's 1012. Yeah. So there's that. And okay, so I was trying to make the order worth the shipping costs because it's pretty much a flat shipping rate no matter how much you order. So I also picked up these two yarns. Oh my god, how cute are these colors together? So this is Filcolana Peruvian Highland wool, which is 100% wool, and these come in 50-gram skeins. This color is 818, and this pink is why am I having a hard time finding this color? It's 313. Yeah, they're both worsted weight, I believe, and it's 100 meters for this 50-gram skein. So I bought these for Spectacle Strix Stripe Overload Polo. I've seen that pattern for a long time. It's one of the first patterns that I've wanted to knit, but I didn't want to take the plunge with ordering 2 colors of mohair and 2 colors of the wool at the same time. And I also didn't know where to buy Filcolana really. There used to be a website that ships to the US called Fairlight Fibers, but I think they stopped carrying Filcolana wool. And also, I couldn't decide on the 2 colors I wanted, so I just put the project off to the side. But yeah, now that words, please. Yeah, so I'm just taking this chance to buy the yarn for one of the projects that I've always wanted to knit, and I'm going to be knitting it without mohair. The reason is because this project turned out so well. Yeah, I'm hopeful for this one. This one, for the mohair, it calls for Filcolana Tilia, and you hold the strands together. But yeah, I just wanted to try it without mohair. So I ordered 1 extra skein of each. So I'm going to make a size up. So hopefully the the ease is good, even though I'll be knitting it without mohair. I'll gauge swatch a little bit to see if I like the tension as well, but yeah, you can expect that. I chose these two colors because originally I was thinking of doing a little more subdued of a color, like cream and brown or something like that. But the first image I saw of the Stripe Overload polo had this bubblegum pink mixed with like a brown, and the color of this pink, it really drew me in. And I looked up the tag on Instagram, and every time I saw this pink, I really loved it. So yeah, I really wanted to try it. I want to knit some fun things as well as practical things, and yeah, I do really like these two colors together. I was trying out a bunch of colors on my iPad, trying to decide. I was like bugging my partners, like, oh my god, what colors do you think look good together? What colors do you think I should get? And I finally settled on this blue with the pink. So yeah, I'm really excited about that. Okay, so yeah, I did have a lot of acquisitions. Hopefully my knitting speeds up. I didn't mention another reason I probably delayed the podcast is because I kind of feel like I should have at least one finished object per podcast, or at least one new thing to show. And then it did take me a little while to finish this one. So, and once I did finish it, a bunch of life events, like a bunch of things on the weekend started popping up. So I do want to record more often than once a month, but we'll see how it goes. You know, I'm not gonna put pressure on myself or anything. But yeah, that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.